Today, we are jumping right into the newest edition of the Carolina Panorama to unpack a really vibrant snapshot of Central South Carolina's African American community. We're talking about everything from a staggering 75% college enrollment spike to a hidden, urgent local health crisis. This particular issue is absolutely packed with a dynamic mix of educational breakthroughs, cultural celebrations, pressing public health challenges, and some highly debated local opinions. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, you've got to understand the platform itself to really grasp the weight of these stories. Established back in 1986 by Nathaniel Abraham Sr., this publication has been a crucial voice for the Midlands for 4 decades now. Today, we're looking at how this third-generation family-run paper, currently published by Nathaniel Abraham Jr., continues to cover everything from major local triumphs to urgent community crises. It's a real testament to the power of enduring community journalism. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so to make sense of such a packed edition, we've organized the stories into 4 main themes: excellence in local education, arts, culture, and athletics, addressing community health crises, and finally, local opinions and perspectives. Let's dive right in with Section 1, Excellence in Local Education. Okay, starting us off with some amazing news out of Benedict College. They just secured a massive $100,000 grant from the Boulay Foundation. This funding is dedicated to launching the highly anticipated BEST Leadership Institute. And, this isn't just some flash-in-the-pan, short-term thing. It's a permanent institutional commitment designed to completely transform the college experience for incoming students. What really makes this program a game-changer is its targeted approach. It specifically supports Black male students, who, remarkably, now make up the majority of Benedict's undergraduate population. That's a huge demographic milestone for historically Black colleges and universities. The Institute provides some incredibly comprehensive resources. We're talking financial literacy, resume building, LinkedIn profile creation, and corporate networking. It's all built to ensure these young men don't just enroll, but actually, scratch that, they don't just enroll, they absolutely thrive and graduate as confident leaders. Now, shifting our maps slightly over to Columbia, Allen University is also making some serious headlines. Niche just named them a top 20 best college in South Carolina for 2026. This makes Allen one of only 2 HBCUs to land on that prestigious statewide list, putting them right up there among an elite group of institutions across the entire state. To really put that momentum into perspective for you, Allen just saw a whopping 75% spike in enrollment. 75%! That massive surge reflects a rapidly growing interest in the university as they expand their academic and athletic offerings. They've recently added brand new graduate programs in business, sport management, and environmental science, and it's all happening under the guidance of their new president, Dr. Stanley J. Pritchett, Sr. All right, moving right along to Section 2, Arts, Culture, and Athletics. So, sticking with Allen University for a second, they are launching this incredibly cool National Endowment for the Arts Big Read initiative. It's called The Big Smoke, The Unfinished Fight, and it's built entirely around Adrian Matajica's award-winning poetry collection. The subject? Jack Johnson, America's very first Black heavyweight boxing champion. The initiative uses Johnson's complex, fascinating life to challenge the community with much deeper questions about identity and American history, taking the conversation well beyond just sports. This whole thing is a massive year-long journey. It kicks off with a campus author visit in September 2026, builds momentum through the winter, and goes all the way to a huge closing celebration in April 2027, featuring the renowned poet Nikki Finney. It's just a brilliant way to use Johnson's life to explore deeper questions of race, freedom, and justice in America through a variety of engaging campus events. Meanwhile, Voorhees University is getting ready to celebrate some major sports history of its own. On September 5th, 2026, they'll be inducting an incredible slate of athletes, coaches, and administrators into their Athletic Hall of Fame. This gala celebrates pure excellence spanning multiple decades in baseball, football, basketball, and track, recognizing the intense dedication that has shaped the rich tradition of Voorhees athletics. Now, we need to shift our focus to a much more serious topic, with Section 3, Addressing Community Health Crises. This part of the paper tackles a very urgent issue. South Carolina currently ranks 8th in the entire nation for sexually transmitted infections. That means 1 in every 111 South Carolinians is affected. But the local numbers, they're even more staggering. Richland County shows an alarming rate of 1 in every 66 residents. To put that into everyday terms, think about being in a crowded grocery store or a large college lecture hall. Statistically speaking, someone in that room is affected. It literally marks the county as having one of the highest rates tracked nationally. And when you dig into the demographics, the picture gets even more concerning. Young adults under 30 account for 37% of these infections, with African Americans comprising half of that young adult group. Plus, the paper points out a little-known but rising crisis. Infection rates among retirees living in state residential facilities have hit an all-time high. But here's the good news: people are stepping up. The Joseph H. Neal Health Collaborative, newly led by Executive Director Marco Benjamin, is tackling this crisis head-on. They're utilizing a comprehensive statewide model designed to meet people exactly where they are. By offering mobile clinics, telehealth access for rural areas, and free confidential screenings, they are actively reaching out to vulnerable populations to remove those traditional barriers to care. Over the past year alone, they've conducted thousands of these crucial tests. And finally, that brings us to Section 4, Local Opinions and Perspectives. We're wrapping things up on the editorial page, which is impartially presenting some highly debated viewpoints right now. First up, libertarian writer Thomas L. Knapp dives into the upcoming tax votes by taking aim at the language politicians use around taxation. He argues that the government falsely defines a tax cut as a cost or a loss of revenue. He contrasts this with his strict viewpoint that taxes are money taken from citizens, and therefore they are only ever a cost to the taxpayer, not to the government entities collecting them. Next, conservative columnist Raynard Jackson introduces a concept he calls the Claudette Colvin test. Now, if you remember your history, Colvin famously refused to give up her bus seat 9 months before Rosa Parks did. However, because she was 15 and pregnant at the time, civil rights leaders chose Rosa Parks to be the face of the movement instead, adhering to the strict community standards of the 1950s. Jackson argues that modern Black leaders completely lack this kind of strict moral code that early civil rights pioneers were held to. Jackson actually uses this specific standard to strongly criticize a wide range of current Democratic figures, media personalities, and civil rights leaders. He claims they rely entirely on theatrics and media approval rather than actual policy proposals and moral accountability. He argues that the community needs to demand a return to much higher personal and moral standards for anyone claiming a leadership role today. For our last editorial, we're pivoting completely away from politics and diving into tech. In honor of Black Business Month, technology consultant Tanita Abraham drops a pretty big warning. Simply having a good Google search result is no longer enough for Black-owned businesses to survive. Her whole point is that as folks increasingly use tools like ChatGPT to find local spots, businesses absolutely have to build a rock-solid, highly consistent digital footprint. You see, AI doesn't just read a single website. It pulls from directories, LinkedIn profiles, and news articles to form a conclusion. If that information is inconsistent or outdated, the AI system simply won't know the business exists. Whether you own a business or just want your favorite local spots to survive, this digital hygiene is crucial. AI for sure isn't going to recommend a hidden business to a user asking for local minority-owned services. So, as we close out this packed explainer of the Carolina Panorama, I want to leave you with Tanita Abraham's central and honestly pretty provocative question to apply to your own digital footprint. No matter what industry you are in, can AI find your business? It's a whole new world up there, and staying visible is the very first step to staying relevant. Thanks so much for joining us as we explored this amazing snapshot of the community.